Hey, Andres. So I'm guessing you're just this is Aldo. Are you just setting them up as, I guess, partnerships or LLCs? Or are you doing anything extra like an S corp or anything like that?
No, just regular LLC.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
typically, when you're doing the partnership, are most of your deals, is it just you and another capital partner, or are there maybe more capital partners involved?
Right now I've done one only, but that is up to you. It's just I don't like to have many people on the pot. That becomes, it makes it harder to take decisions. And there's a lot of things I have adjusted over the properties. Like at the beginning, I was more lenient into letting them decide if there is something wrong, this and that. Like you have the authority to kick me out. Now it's like everything is gonna be done my way, and if you don't like it, go invest with somebody else, right? Because I know what I'm doing. I have spent hundreds of hours learning this, paying lawyers, working on my paperwork, fixing other people's deals. I have a lot more experience closing real estate transactions, not just my own properties, right? Because I have a background as a wholesaler. I'm still involved in other people's transactions. So when somebody, just because they have the money, they want to take all the control, it doesn't work like that. Because if the property goes wrong and I know I can fix it, I should be able to do it before they intervene. So I always put clauses like, if this goes wrong because of this, I can do this, and if it doesn't work, you have 90 days to do this.
So
Things like that.
they're partners, not lenders.
Yes, they are partners. Most of my properties are partners.
Okay.
Lenders.
And
Again, we can probably start with that. Yeah.
You structure it 50-50, 70-30. How do you do it?
50-50.
Okay.
Let me put that on the board.
So if you structure it 50-50, what happens if you both disagree and you have the same equity amount?
I have in the first ones, they can decide after 90 days. Okay. And in the new ones, I can decide. But there's no disagreement. Like, why would we disagree about something? And that is something that you have to think before asking people to invest with you. Like, this is what we could go wrong, and if it goes wrong, this is how we're going to handle it, right? That's something that you have to write in the operating agreement.
So you create an if-then-else contract?
A what?
A if-then-else.
Yes.
Okay.
So the structure is like this, right? You're going to create a new LLC. And then you're going to be 50%. Oh, well, that depends what type of distribution you want to have, but it's going to be 50% you as the operator, right? This is the most common structure, and then 50% as a capital partner. Okay. Then the operating agreement is a document that rules the LLC. Because this document rules the LLC, this is where you have to put all the rules, all the explanations. How is the money going to be handled? Who has access to the bank accounts? At what time are the accounting reports supposed to be sent? And if it's not on time, what is going to happen? For example, a lot of people lose their heads at the time of the tax season when they do partnerships. And I almost lose mine last year because I scaled quickly and I was like, oh, I'm going to let the accountant handle it. $13,000. No, thank you, sir. Like, I'll figure it out, right? When you have a partnership, the accounting is not just a P&L. You have to send each partner a K1. And because the LLC is its own entity, that has to be done by an accountant or a CPA or a tax professional, right? And then you take the K1 with you, and then the K1 runs into your personal report. That is expensive depending on who does it. It's usually about $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 depending on which CPA you use. Could be cheaper, but the one that I'm using right now is around $1,100.
So is the basic principle, the way you have it set up, is let's just make easy numbers. Let's say you take in $2,000 a month to make it easy. Let's say your expenses are $1,000 a month. So therefore you have a potential profit each month of $1,000. Do you have it set up as a 50-50 split? They get 500, you get 500?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's run a scenario here, right? let's say our gross rent, usually for a co-living, it's about 6K, right? You have 7 to 8 rooms at 800. Then our mortgage, the principal, interest, tax, and insurance, let's say it's going to be about 2K, right? Then you have your electricity, water, gas, internet, landscaping, cleaning. All of that is going to be called operational expenses. And that is going to be around $1,200 a month, right? Then you have CapEx, and then you have repairs. So CapEx, you can do 500 of the house, you can do 10%, whatever you decide. We're just going to keep it with round numbers for now. So let's say we're saving a month 300, right? And for repairs, we're also saving 300. Now, repairs could be supplies, right? You are buying toilet paper for the people or cleaning items, whatever you have to use, trash bags, something like that. So we do that. Let's see, what's the math?
600, 1,800, 3,800, 4,000, $2,200 difference.
$2,200 difference. You're right. Right. So then the net is going to be 2,200. Right. And then from the net, you split 50% to each partner.
And you have your LLC set up that it has a lifespan that within 5 years going to sell it and then split the proceeds?
Yes. Now that is something you can negotiate. Okay. For example, on the first ones that I set up, we have an agreement of 5 years. Right. After 5 years, we have to decide either refinance, either sell, or something. And if we don't agree on what we want to do, the capital partner has the right to decide to sell, and they can choose. Even in the operating agreement, you have to put everything: who chooses the agent to sell, who chooses the appraiser, who chooses the stager for the house, who's going to choose the construction crew. All of that has to be extremely detailed, so there is no confusion. And that's where people lose their hats, right? Like, oh, let my cousin list it, and then your cousin is double dipping on the commissions and all of that. So let's say in 5 years, we want to refinance. And then after the refinancing, the capital partner gets all their money back. And then whatever is the net profit on the sale, it is a split 50-50. Does that make sense? Yep. Now, the way I have it now, it's a little bit different. I have first right of refusal. So after 5 years, even if the partner wants to sell for whatever reason they hate me, they cannot sell unless I can buy them out. And to buy them out, I just have to pay them back their original principal, right? And I am in charge of evaluating what is going to be the price of the house at the sale. So, for example, they invest $80,000 and our net profit is supposed to be 90. They get their $80,000 and I only pay them $5,000 more, and then I can keep the house because I don't want to get rid of these assets, right? And at that point, I'm buying a house for $5,000, $10,000, right? Depending on how much the house has appreciated. So that's my exit strategy with the new houses that I have, because I want to keep them for the next, that's going to be my retirement, right? That's going to be, I want to keep them for 20, 30 years. I don't want to just get rid of the property in 5 years and then have to keep buying houses. Because the ones that I have right now, they're in really good locations. Like parking is perfect. I have no problems with tenancy, so I don't want to get rid of those assets. And at the same time, I want to start having 100% ownership. I don't want to have partners forever. It works. So.
Understood.
Okay, going back to private money, does anybody have any questions so far about what I explained there?
I got a question. Let me ask you. I don't want to change the subject on it, but why use private money partners rather than just get a private money lender and give them 20%?
Great question.
20% off of 2,200. I mean, you only, 50%, you're giving them 1,100 rather than if he gives you 80 grand, you're only giving them, $600 interest or $700 interest rather than 1,100 as a partner. Plus, he doesn't get equity. Even if you give them 15% interest on private, lending, which is attractive. Now, I know why people want to do private money partners, because they get equity in the property, right? So it's more attractive to find people like that than just a private money lender. But if you're offering someone a higher percentage, I'm sure you'll find a lot of private lenders too, right?
Yep. I'm writing it on the screen so people can see. Okay, the first benefit is like I don't have to pay them back. Most prime money lenders want to recycle their money, right? So you have a year and a half to pay them back. Even on the best of the houses, even if I'm making $3,000 net, I'm only gonna net a year $36,000. If I borrow 80,000, how am I gonna pay them back? That's one of the. Of course, if I have a different business or something, I could leverage PML for a little bit of time. But from my perspective, right, somebody was totally broke. I had no money in my account. I only had credit cards. A private money partner, I give him half. I get to buy the house, and I start cash flowing day one. Then I do it, and I snowball into the second one. And I don't have to worry about pay them, because the way I underwrote the deals, I know that in 5-7 years, once we refinance or sell, their capital is protected, right? We have enough equity now, and by the time the equity appreciates, I'm gonna be able to pay them back. So I'm never gonna have to use my own money. And like, for example, what you're saying is good, right? At the beginning, this might be the best way for everybody to scale quickly. Now that I'm making 12K a month net, I don't have to use this structure. Now I can use PMLs. I have a second business, I have a third business. Now I'm bringing cash in. I can use my own money. Right? If I get a property under contract right now, I just need a PML for 6-12 months, and then I can repay them. But that is one of the main benefits of having a partnership. The second one, well, I already spoke of that. I don't have to pay them, and it's easier to scale. A lot of people, if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the cachet to talk like, hey, I need you to borrow your money at 12%, they will be okay by having ownership, because they are a lot more protected, right? Fourth thing, for example, if you have a PML and you're borrowing in a created transaction, the PML is going to be on second position. Does anybody know what that means?
Yes.
Right?
You're saying you have a first, then the money lender will be in second position because the first takes precedence.
Exactly. So if for whatever reason I go south, right, I get killed, I get kidnapped by aliens, like Pace says, the bank is going to eat first if the house gets foreclosed, and entirety of the money that the PML put on the house is going to get lost. And that's something people do not disclose when they do PMLs. Like a lot of people that were scaling using this, they were telling people, just PML me. I have so much money in my portfolio that I want to cash you out in a year. And then they didn't, right? They sold the money from the mortgage. They never paid the house, made a lot of money, and then PMLs lost all their money, right? A second position PML is really risky, especially long term.
Andres, my question is, say the private money partnership, and he invests $80,000, and you get to 60 months, and you just said, okay, cool, I want out. Is it the $80,000 that they get back, or is it the percentage of the equity that they have at that time, whatever the value of the property is?
That depends on how you structure it. That's the beauty of it. If you are an asshole, you can structure it where their equity is not protected, where you can tell them, hey, at the time of the sale, you're going to get 50%. And if for whatever reason you only net 60,000, you're going to give them back 30,000 instead of their own 80. But almost everybody's going to catch on that, like, hey, how does my money come back? So the way you're going to structure it is at the time of sale, they get their money back first, right? Like you said, 80,000, and the house is going to net 100,000. Right, so the only thing that you split is that 20,000 surplus. Does that make sense? So they get their 80,000 back first because they're investing, they're putting their capital.
Okay, got you. So whatever it's appraised for and sell after you pay off your your expense, they get their $80,000 back. Then whatever is left, that's what you split.
Yes. So at the time of sale, right? Let's say the capital partner invested 80,000, right? Then the house you sell and it nets 100K. So at the time of the sale, first, the capital partner gets their 80,000 back, and then the remaining, which is 20,000, gets a split 50-50 between the partner A and the partner B. Does that make it a little bit clearer on the exit? Andel?
Yes. Yeah.
Gordon, go first. That one is going to take
Yeah,
forever.
my question is, how are you finding your partners, and then what's your sales funnel to get them from lead to like locked in, and then what are your KPIs on your funnel?
I don't have a sales funnel for partners.
Okay.
These have all been natural. I would say, like, the benefit that I have is that I'm part of a very large, real estate membership, right? Sub 2. It's probably the largest one online that you can find. There I can raise my money from investors because the way pays, sells the mentorship is like, if you have no money and you put all the work, you can make it, right? The way I'm making it. And if you have a lot of money, you can come and invest with somebody like Andres, and your money will be taken care of. So I made a lot of relationships as a wholesaler because I talked to sellers, I talked to buyers, I talked to possible investors. And through those relationships, I found out a lot of investors, they don't actually want to do the work, right? They just have money. They're engineers. One of my partners works for NASA, right? They're both engineers for NASA. They make like $500,000 a year. And they're just, we need to put our money somewhere. I was like, hey, come with me, right? This is where you got it. But that's my primary way to finding partners. If I didn't have,
Go ahead. Finish your
if I
thought.
didn't have that, you need to start talking to people around you. Like, hey, what are you doing with your money, right? There's always a relationship that you have to start first, because for example, going to what Thomas said, non-negotiables for me. If I don't like you as a person, I don't want you to invest with me. As desperate as I could be for money, because this is a long-term relationship, right? That's one non-negotiable for me. And second, I want to know if my capital partner can handle stress. And if you're a capital partner, you need to make sure your operator can handle stress, because shit can and will go wrong. And if a person doesn't have the ability to to persist and to handle that stress, your money is not going to be protected. So, for example, if you have a job where you're making money, you can talk to a family member, right? Hey, mom, your retirement, how much are you getting? How about we buy a house together? Roth IRAs, you can get your money out of there. You can tell people how much are you getting there. People who are not in real estate, they will invest as PMLs for long term, right? You might be able to get the 100% of the equity because, hey, are you getting 8%? How about I give you 10? I give you 12, right? And then for 5 years. And how? Well, then you start explaining what you do, right? I do this. I run by the rooms. Affordable housing is never going to run away. People need affordable places. I will make this much amount of money, so your money is protected, because since I make all this money, I can pay you back. Right? I wouldn't call it a funnel. I wouldn't call it sales, because I think that relationship is very personal. And if you don't treat it personal, I mean, you can definitely scale with a sales funnel, dude. But I've had hundreds of conversations with people. I have, dude, literally 100+ people that I've said, I don't want your money, after talking 2-3 times, because for me that's very important, how I feel at night, right? I don't want partners to be calling me. Like, we have one talk a month, and if everything is going right, you can text me about normal questions, but hey, why do you lower the rent by $10? Like, why are you not charging more for the garage? Like, hey, the electricity bill is too high, and I saw in the cameras that this person is leaving the kitchen light on. That is fucking $5 a month. I'm not gonna spend my time on that, right? That's why we're making this amount of money, and we're getting this type of profit. So that type of people I don't like. A lot of people that have a lot of money, they handle business like that, right? I don't like people that pinch pennies on me. So for me, it's a big non-negotiable. So once you start talking with people and raise money, I would suggest you to make your own list, right? What's a non-negotiable for you?
Mhm.
Right? Do they value family? Do they know if things go wrong that you're gonna be able to handle it? Like, start to portray yourself as that, right? Like, this is what I do. This is what I've done. This is my experience. I have put my own money on this. Like, I just want to keep scaling, and this is what I need.
Gotcha. So you're having high leverage conversations based on the interactions you have with your group. Is it you more so hunting and like going out to these people and saying, let's grab coffee? Or is it more so fishing, you throwing out, hey, I do this. If anybody's interested, contact me?
Both.
Okay.
Both. There's people that I met because I was helping. For example, in Sub2, when I was a wholesaler, right? A lot of people were getting into really bad deals as a fix and flipper because they didn't know how to read the numbers. So I put like, hey, I'm going to host a call like this about underwriting fix and flips. If you need help, show up.
Mhm.
And then they hear me talk the numbers, and then we jump into personal call because I send my Calendly, and then we start talking, and they realize, like, you know what? I don't want to do this. Like, I got into real estate, but I really want to do this. I just wish I could get 12%. Hey, this is what I do. How about I give you the 12% and you also get equity in the house because you need tax write-offs, right? So you can get 50% of the depreciation. Oh, okay, now let's talk. And then you move them into different funnel or different conversation. You can also put a post publicly, right? But what I found out from posting that is that most people will waste your time. It's like when you put an ad for rent on Zillow on apartment.com, all the leads that you get are kind of trashy. It's something like that, right? But the big part of mine was social media. I don't have a lot of videos. I have 3 videos on YouTube, and on my Instagram, I think I have 10. But that was enough because people saw that I'm actually doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And people invest. Well, the first barrier for people to invest with you is going to be, do they like you? Do they like you? Do they like you? If you pass that first barrier, then you can have a conversation.
Makes sense. All right, I'll pass the mic. Thanks.